This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by G&G Armament and TSD Airsoft. Hello, and welcome back to Airsoft GI's Top Tech Challenge. This is the second installment of the Top Tech Challenge. The first Top Tech Challenge was about accuracy. This episode is going to be about FPS. We're going to pin our techs head to head, and we're going to see who can hit the target FPS or get closest to it. The subject of today's Top Tech Challenge is going to be the SOCOM Gear R700 bolt-action sniper rifle. Our techs will have 30 minutes to build the gun to shoot 550 FPS with a .20 gram BB, and they have a budget of $150. $150 does not include the price of the gun, that's just for parts. Our competitors in this challenge are going to be Frank, the reigning champion. He's been a tech here at Airsoft GI basically since we opened, but he's been taking his own gun since before that. His competitor is going to be his employee, Andrew Mejia. He's been an Airsoft GI tech for about 2 years now, and he specializes in the Tokyo Marui VSR-10 and its many clones, which is what the R700 is. Our techs already know what they need to do, and they already have their parts gathered. They're going to join us back here in the studio after this commercial break. Airsoft GI would like to take a moment and thank our sponsors, Echo One USA and ZShot.com, Sistema's US-based distributor. Alright gentlemen, you already know what you need to do. You have your parts ready to go. Time starts right now. Alright Frank, tell us a little bit about your strategy for this.
Basically gonna put all the parts into the trigger box first and make sure this is all set to go before I move into the cylinder.
Alright, pretty much what I'm doing here is also starting on the trigger box. There's no real secret to how these spring rifles work. They're perhaps the simplest airsoft design.
That's no good. What's no good?
See, with these sear sets, every now and then the little hole for the pin is too small. You have to bore it out.
Are you having the same issue with your sear set, Frank?
Not really. Just these little springs right here, kind of small. I got big fat fingers. Just trying to get the pin. The pin actually fits perfectly fine. Finishing up the trigger box now. Looks like I got a little bit of a lead on Mejia over there. Just checking the function, making sure everything is working correctly now. All set.
What's the next step?
Getting into the cylinder. Now the R700s have this pin here. They like to pin their cylinder head. So we're going to have to drill that out to be able to get into the cylinder to upgrade the parts inside.
Alright, you need to explain what's happening here.
Oh, the actual piston sear. This little knob right here actually gets caught in there, so I have to file it out a bit for it to fit.
Is this why Frank's beating you right now on the build?
Right.
Build is done, Frank?
Yeah, it's done.
Now kids, don't fool yourselves out there. Putting one of these heavy 170 springs is not all that easy to pull back.
Oh, Mejia, you're so dreamy and you're so strong.
All right, Frank, you finished your build really quick. Tell us about the parts you chose, how it helped you. Give us the lowdown on that.
Alright, well, the parts I chose basically was the Airsoft GI cylinder parts, the spring guide, the spring, the piston. Obviously, because, they work really well, and the cost of them, they're priced really affordable. Good. Yeah, exactly. Most of the part that takes the most punishment is the sear set. I really like the way Polar Star made their sear set. It's strong, it's durable, it's heat treated, and of course they're guaranteed that there's no airsoft spring that'll wear them out. That was an extra plus for me. It's just, the reliability of it. So I did use a more expensive sear set.
But you combine that with the more economical Airsoft GI parts, so you kind of a mixture of durability and economy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Andrew, your build took a little longer than Frank's did. Explain to us what happened with you.
Right, well, the SOCOM Gear trigger boxes, unlike Bar 10 trigger boxes, are actually painted, and it's thick paint. So I did have to file down so that the piston sear would move freely in its groove. Otherwise, the gun will just slam fire because the piston won't lock onto the sear.
I see. Okay, so what parts did you elect to use?
I used our own GI full line parts, spring guide, piston, and trigger sear set. What I like in particular about the GI sear set is that it comes with everything. Typically when you buy Lilacs parts, you have to buy the separate sear set, the separate trigger set and the separate piston sear, and then on top of that you have to buy a separate guide stopper. That all can add up. The GI part set for $50 comes with all 3 sear sets and with all 2 sear sets and the guide stopper.
Okay, so you went completely economical to stay way under budget.
Right.
All right, gentlemen, here is our scoring chart. This is how the point system works. You get 1 point for every dollar you stay under budget. You get 1 point for every minute you finish under time. And whoever gets closest to the 550 FPS average will get plus 10 points, just to make things very simple. So, the tally starts now. Frank, your budget, you were able to build everything for $140. That means you get plus 10 points. Mejia, you stayed way under budget, and that's a good thing. So you get plus 30 points because your budget was only $120. I say that's a good thing because, Frank, you smoked him on the build time. Your build time was 16 minutes and 13 seconds. We're going to round down to the closest minute. So that's 16 minutes, which gives you plus 14 points because, remember, the time limit was 30 minutes. Mejia, you took a lot more time than Frank did. You built your gun in 26 minutes and 4 seconds. We're rounding down to the nearest minute, so that's only plus 4 points in that category. Now, out of an average of 10 shots, Frank, your gun shot 544 FPS out of an average of 10. Mejia just under that at 539. So Frank gets plus 10 points in that category. Mejia, you get nil. So, working it all together, looks like Frank, 10 plus 10 plus 14 is 34. And Mejia, you ended up with a 34 as well. So we have a tie, which means the only reason, or the only way that we can sort this out is with a shootout. Gentlemen, welcome to our shootout. This is going to be very simple. Your targets are about 50 feet behind you, which should be nothing compared to the 550 FPS that your rifles are shooting. On my mark, you will about face and fire at your targets. The first person to hit their target will become the next top tech. However, since it's so close, we're going to throw a curveball at you. Mejia, you normally shoot left-handed. Today you're shooting right-handed. Frank, you're normally the right hand. You're going to be hitting at your target, shooting at your target with your left hand. You guys understand the rules?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Go ahead.
Dude, first shot again, man.
Frank, congratulations. You are still the top tech. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I think my advantage was my build time. The Polar Star parts, they just dropped right in. I didn't have to modify anything like that. Never got a snag in the whole build, so it went pretty smoothly for me.
Your build went very smooth. You also won in the shootout.
Yeah, I mean, if it ever goes to a shootout, I'll win every time. No one can defeat me.
Thanks a lot, Frank. Congratulations again. You are still Airsoft GI's top tech. Thank you for watching Airsoft GI TV. The Airsoft GI TV episode you've just enjoyed is brought to you in part by JBU and Mad Bull Airsoft.